What are clients usually nervous about when they first get in touch with you?
I think the first answer to that is revealing their own inner child.
Oh, so they don't want you to know that they actually want to play. It's for them and not the children.
We're successful with a really unique relationship with our clients. I describe it as a breakfast table relationship. So we're in that space of honesty and trust. And I always know when we align with our clients because they get a little playful.
Oh, do they? And you think they're nervous about disclosing that to you?
Yeah, it's an unusual experience for them. If they're buying a car or buying a house or...
They know what they're doing.
Buying a saucepan, it's a very transactional relationship, no matter what the value of the purchase. I think that's the first stage. It's a sort of revelation. The initial inquiries often come because, they're wanting to buy something for the children. But I think sort of secretly behind that, dad's wanting to be first down the zip wire.
Brilliant.
And mum's wanting to do some yoga on the deck with, all of those beautiful things. So I think the inner child is being exposed and being unraveled in our complicated lives.
How do you make them feel confident about it and supported by you whilst you're designing and building?
Conversation, face-to-face, eye-to-eye, so important. There's very little clutter in our process. We share essentials, budgets, we do 3D model drawings, we show one or two facets of what matters to making a purchase. But overwhelmingly, it's relationship. It's stood with Wellington boots in a garden, in the woods. It's that relationship where they listen to what we can achieve, what we can make happen.
And the other way around, you're listening to them rather than selling. Why is that important?
Yeah, it's so crucial to listen. I learned listening as a drummer.
Of course.
And high-level learning on a musical instrument is learning to listen. And so a site visit, it might be an hour in the kitchen or out in the garden or in the woods or a combination of all of that. And a good 80% of that is me listening. I don't show them drawings or budgets or, I listen, come away from that site consultation, and it's then something that we present to them either electronically or directly.
Do you go back and show them?
Yeah, we do, and we can, or we can send by email. So there's a combination of touch points.
Yeah.
I mean, our projects are all over the world, so there are practicalities with all of that. But the initial site consultation, most of the time, is me or me with my team present wherever it is in the world. We recently finished a project in Hawaii, literally the other side of the world, and that that triggered from a site visit in location. Because our products are not off the shelf, they are sensitive and wrapped in its particular location. So much is learnt by listening to the client, but also listening to the environment, which I know is a soft point of connection, but we need to listen to the trees, to the branches, to the ground, to the river, to the gradient.
So that must alleviate some of the concerns that they have about how it's going to be built and what's going to be built. Just the fact that you listen to them and then discuss it, and so there's a whole interaction. It's not just you can have X, Y, Z, you can have this one or this one. That's why it's actually we're going to work with you with what you want. So we're also going to work with the nature that's around so that we can actually make it work for both. The responsibility and the trust and the confidence is built in that first consultation, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's from a place of trust, and trust that we can ultimately deliver the fun. It's all these fuzzy emotional points of connection. Yes, there's a structure and a building. I don't like to call it a building, but of course it is.
Yeah.
Ultimately, and it's a structure and it's a framework. We have deep knowledge, deep knowledge over 22 years of how we put that together efficiently on site.
Can you talk us through the journey from that point where you've walked through the garden to the actual finished build?
Delighted, such an exciting process, and I love the word journey because we certainly align with that. But coming back from that site consultation, I've not even made notes, so it's a conversation.
Wow, it's all in your head.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And I'm obviously very familiar with absorbing all of that. So I've got an energy, and I've got a big conversation in my head that has given me really strong emotional connections as to where their journey needs to get to.
Do you offload that anywhere? Like, do you record that as you're going back on a voice note or anything like that?
Yeah, typically I might drive away from the consultation, but then stop pretty soon after a few minutes to then unload all of that quickly, just sort of handwritten notes. I've also captured images, photographs, if the client allows us to do that. And importantly, Joe, particularly when there's a tree involved or a group of trees, I've taken a 3D scan.
Right.
So it's a bit of, it's an app on a phone, but it allows me to create a complete 3D scan of the tree and its branches.
Okay.
So I've got some lots of information, and it's enough information to then back in the office and the workshop for me to share that with my team, with the operations director, with the team that will build and construct, if this becomes a sale and a project that we're taking forward.
So you take it back to the office, and then you all get involved in the design.
Yeah.
And with all your drawings and your 3D scans and your ideas. And then what happens next?
We create a 3D model and we pull elements of what is relevant to this particular journey and this particular project. So it's very bespoke and crafted. But importantly, Joe, we pull together a 3D model. We render that as a sketch.
Right.
So visually, it's attractive to a client at an emotional level. It doesn't look like an architect's drawing. It looks like a sketch.
It looks like a treehouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Because some of the, being an estate agent, some of the drawings that you have of the houses they don't look like a house. They just look like drawings of a house that's going to be
Many
renovated,
people don't relate deeply to that.
No. So you're pulling at
There's that sort of right-left brain thing. And it needs to be a combination of emotional touch points as well as technical touch points. But we create a 3D model drawing, and that's complete. Now, that's equally important to the client in terms of how they visualize the journey. But equally important to us as a company, because our drawings, although they're rendered sketch-like in terms of what the client sees, what's sitting behind that are really precise, millimeter perfect drawings.
And
So for us, I always feel, and it includes everything. It includes the joists, the cladding, the windows, all the technicalities.
do you show the client that bit as well?
Yeah, well, it's all in the drawings.
So I've said yes, we're going to do it for April the 23rd, which happens to be my birthday. So we're going to do it for April the 23rd.
Yeah.
And it's now beginning of February.
Yeah.
So what happens next?
Yep.
I've signed the contract. I've signed
we have 3 payments as part of the journey of completion. So on contract, there's a initial payment, which is typically 40%. That allows us as a company to book and schedule those dates and fix on those in our diary. It sort of books those dates into our diary, and it allows us to progress the pre-production of our workshop. So our team that have been involved ahead of contract with the design, that design now becomes contractual. And we then have that design as a big drawing in the workshop, and the team are then preparing the pre-production for that. It's pre-prepared according to drawings. It's pre-prepared according to our systems and processes, building excellence, a wow factor into every element.
Thanks for listening to the Treehouse Life podcast. If this episode sparked your imagination, follow along and stay connected. You can find more of our work, stories from the treetops, and adventures around the world at Treehouse Life HQ. Until next time, keep exploring.